4th of July is around the corner. Are you sure you're ready? Do you know what you're gonna make? You should be planning it now. So I'm gonna give you some vegan whole food ideas, delicious, that you're going to die for. So stay with me because we're going to go through like all of these dishes that I have in front of me just to show you how you're gonna crush it on 4th of July with your family and friends. Let's go. So for this tofu sandwich, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to marinate it. Then we're going to make a tomato ginger jam. Yes, a tomato ginger jam is going to go into the sandwich. Instead of having the raw tomato, we're making a jam. But also we're making a garlic mayonnaise. Delicious, creamy. It's going to be the top of the tom. La crème de la crème. Let's start first with the marinade. We're going to use aceto balsamico, soy sauce, and coconut aminos. Coconut aminos a little bit sweet, then we have the soy, umami flavor, savory, and also we have the aceto balsamico that is still sweet, a little bit bitter, and acid at the same time. But first of all, the day before, you have to freeze your tofu. Slice it and freeze it. I have one here. This is still frozen, but I have the other ones that I thaw in the morning, and they look like this. And you can see how there is still a little bit of water coming out. Oop, you see? So that's what we want. The reason I freeze the tofu is because you want all the water to come out in order to absorb your marinade. I explained the whole process and details in this video. Go check it out and then come back here. I'm gonna zest the lime on top of the tamari or the coconut aminos or whichever. It doesn't matter, we're going to combine them all. You can use a Ziploc bag or you can use a container. We're going to grab the tofu that you thaw in the morning. You want to squeeze the water. So you want to press it so the water comes out. That's what we want, but be careful, you don't want to break all the tofu, otherwise it's going to be very difficult to put it in the bag. Okay, so now we're going to start dropping. This is the aceto balsamic. Oh, beautiful. We have coconut aminos, and then we have tamari. I'm using tamari, but you can use soy sauce as well if you want. No problem. And then we're gonna close the bag. Try to remove all the air as possible because we don't want air, but we want all the marinade to be absorbed by the tofu. So something like this. And then we're gonna keep it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. If you can even do this the day before, it's going to be amazing. Now we're going to pass it through a little bit of cornstarch. You need to be careful because it's a little bit fragile if you cut it this thin, and then just tap. Put it on the side, do the rest the same way, and then we're gonna go into the pan. Okay, so we're gonna preheat our pan and we're gonna use avocado oil. We're going to pan fry our tofu. So carefully, you don't want to put your tofu towards you, if not all the oil is going to splash this way. Slowly. Keep in mind that the tofu has water and you don't want that water to splash. It's going to splash a little bit, but not towards you. Okay, you can do 3 or 4 pieces at a time, whatever you feel comfortable, because we're gonna have to flip it. So if you think you are not gonna be able to flip 4 pieces here, don't do 4. If one of them breaks, don't worry. You know, just fry it like that. It's all right, you know, at the end of the day, nobody's gonna be the big chunk. We're gonna put it in the sandwich. Oh boy, my goodness, this looks amazing. Use your spatula. Try to use one like the one I'm using, a square one. And then just go. Use your hand, or you can use, even safer, a spoon. Bring it down, and then just with the spoon, slowly place it down. Oh my goodness, but you can appreciate this beautiful color. Look at that, look at this crust. Okay, so for the tomato jam, ginger tomato jam, we're gonna start with olive oil. This is a small diced ginger. We're gonna cook it for about 1 minute. Right away, you're going to feel, you know, that citrusy aroma. Beautiful. Look at that. This is all the water. All the steam is all the water from the ginger. So it's going to concentrate the flavor here. We're going to add a little bit of salt. It's a pinch. Don't try to season it, all of it. We just want to add a little bit of salt so the flavors will start acting. And then here at this point, when you see it's getting a little bit golden brown, we're going to add the tomatoes. It's not necessary that you do like very small cubes because most of the tomato is going to disintegrate. This is white balsamic vinegar and maple syrup. In case you don't have maple syrup, you can use either a little bit of agave or coconut sugar. Stir it, and we're going to cook this for about 30 to 45 minutes on medium flame. Okay, look at this beauty. It's been 20 minutes. And you can see here how the water is evaporating. We're getting a thicker and a thicker jam. So what is the consistency that we're looking for? Look here, we want kind of to be spreadable on the bread. Either when your spatula, just crush the tomatoes a little bit. You can do this with a potato masher, with your spatula, or with a plastic glass. And then we're gonna leave this for 5 more minutes and then I'll show you the consistency. Guys, our jam is done. Look how it moves together. You see, it's just one piece of beauty and deliciousness. So we're gonna set this aside because we're gonna use it when we are assembling our sandwich. Okay, so for the garlic mayonnaise, you're gonna need water because we're going to blanch the garlic. We don't want the flavor of the garlic to be so overwhelming. We want the sweetness in our mayonnaise, that's why we're gonna blanch it. And you're not gonna do this once, but twice. You can do it just once, it's gonna be a little bit heavier, but if you do it twice, it's gonna be sweeter. So it's up to you. So I'm gonna blanch it for about 1 minute, then throw away the water, and with clean water, repeat the same process. A minute has passed, we're going to take them out. You can also do this in almond milk. Second round. Okay, so we're gonna start by adding lime juice, water, almonds. These almonds have been soaked overnight and peeled, and we're gonna add the garlic that we just blanched. Season with a little bit of salt, and then we're going to blend. So after we blend it and it's smooth, we're going to add 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, just to add that extra fattiness and that taste of raw olives. Beautiful. This is going to bring out all the flavors. Then we blend again. And this is the texture that we want. Silky and smooth. Thick. But look how it looks, like very airy. My goodness, this is going to be heaven. Why chipotle bean chili? I love beans, first of all, and I know you love them too. And one of the best ways to do it is kind of like a stew, right? That's why we're doing this chili bean. We're adding canned chipotles. Those chipotles are smoky, they're going to add that tomato flavor, and we're reinforcing that flavor with some tomato paste and some spices. So it's going to be extra delicious. It also has fresh ginger to add that kick, you know, that back kick. It's not that spicy. If you want to omit or just change a little bit the amount of chili that you're going to put in, you can do that too. Or add some other kind of chilies like cayenne pepper. You can add even jalapeno, just chop jalapeno and do it in the first mix. To build that flavor is going to be in the base that we do with garlic, onion, tomato paste, and ginger. The base needs to be well seasoned. For this, I really recommend you cook your own beans because you can actually measure the amount of ingredients that you're gonna put in them. Maybe you can put a bay leaf there, some kombu, just to add more flavor into that broth and into the beans. But if you want, and it's more comfortable for you to just use canned beans, try to use some of them that don't have a lot of additives. A good brand is Eden. They just have seaweed kombu and a little bit of sea salt. That's it. Why did I mention the beans and the seasoning? Because these two ingredients are going to come together. So if the beans are well seasoned and then you're making all this, building all these layers of flavor, these beans are not going to be any kind of beans. They're going to be your 4th of July smacked beans. Okay, so for the beans, we're going to start with olive oil. We want to start our sofrito. So we have red onion, ginger, and garlic. So we're going to add all the ingredients. Why? Because we want them to cook together. This time we're not looking for like the onion to be translucent and the garlic, you know. We want now to build this layer of flavor, and this is very important because we want this to have this brownish color because we want to add more that caramelization, that nuttiness, that depth of flavor into those beans. You don't have to be like moving, you know, no. Just make a layer, remove what you have in the walls of the pot, leave it to cook for a few minutes, and then you can stir. Now here you can see how we have this brown color in the onions and the garlic and the ginger. But look, the wall of my pot is clean, always clean, because otherwise all the onion is not going to cook evenly. Here is the point when we're going to add our spices. So we have coriander seeds, cumin, and also a little bit of ground fennel. And also we're adding black pepper, toasted black peppercorns. I like it fresh, and we're adding quite a lot. Now we want to stir everything in. Oh my God, they smell divine, my goodness. Why do we add the spices here? Because we want them to infuse the oil. Remember, aromas and the flavors, most of them are diluted better in fat than in water. That's why we're doing in this fat. So here is where we're going to add our tomato paste and our chilies. So this is the chipotle. You can add chili chipotle or just the juice. The juice actually, it is infused with the flavors. A lot of people, I see that when they add like tomato paste and things like this, they add it and then they add the beans and, you know, like they start cooking it. But the way I like to do it, and I think is one of the best ways to do it, is cook also the tomato paste, you know. You want to cook it with the oil, the onions, the ginger. Otherwise, you're just leaving it raw. You want to really cook this paste down so it really concentrates the flavor. It's just, you need time when you cook, you know. You cannot rush it. You cannot just put everything in a pot. Like, really, that's something I see a lot of in social media, in a lot of YouTube channels. And I know we want to cook fast, and sometimes life demands that, and that's okay. But when you cook that, you sacrifice flavor. So we're gonna cook this paste for about 4 to 6 minutes on low flame. And actually I'm gonna add a little bit more oil because I want that paste to infuse the oil. And when I add my beans, then the beans are gonna get all this amazing flavor. Season as you go, little by little, because otherwise, then you want to season at the end, the salt doesn't dissolve, and then you don't get the same final result. You can see, look, like even there is a color down here, and that's flavor, that's caramelization. And that's what we want. This oil, you don't know, but it's packed with flavor. So now we're going to add our beans, finally, because now we know that are gonna be super flavorful. Don't hesitate to add any other kind of beans if you don't have black beans. Even with cannellini, this would go well, with giant beans, maybe with a little bit of a kidney. Look this, all this oil is going to kind of refry the beans, but the outside, because we want them whole. Look how the paste is sticking into the beans, like that's what we wanted, that's flavor. When I started cooking, this was one of the first lessons that my grandma taught me. She said, Lalo, sazona, let the things get seasoned. Sazonar is to get seasoned. So it's like, leave it to sazonar, you know, and I'm like, Mom, but it's been like 5 minutes. Relax, calm down. Give it time to the food, you know, observe, smell. So that's what we're doing now. Okay, so a few minutes has passed and look, it sticks all to the beans. The next step is add another layer of flavor. You're like, another one? Yes. This is mushroom broth, concentrated mushroom broth. Keep an eye on it because I'm going to post the recipe soon. I'm going to show you how to make that. And the bean broth in which I cook the beans for more flavor. This is the advantage of cooking your own beans, that you get bean broth. Look at this. Look at this, my goodness. Okay, so now I'm going to add a bay leaf. Hide it under the beans, you know, so nobody can see it. Nobody knows that the secret. And then we're going to taste a little bit to see if we can add a little bit of salt. I usually don't add a lot of salt because I am reducing it. So I let it kind of cooked, and at the end I season a little bit more. We season the paste at the beginning, if you remember. Oh boy. At this point you just want to cook this for about 5 minutes. Finish seasoning and that's it, guys. The texture is beautiful. We're gonna add a little bit more salt that it needs. If you like thicker, just go a little bit longer. But I think for me, this is the perfect texture. Next up, how can we have a 4th of July party without corn? So we're having a cold corn salad. Yes, a little bit different because it's hot out there. We already have the chili bean, so now we're going to make this corn cold salad. It's herby, refreshing, it has the acidity of the lime. You're going to completely love it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cook the corn kernels. I have fresh corn that I remove the kernels from the cob. Is when you're cooking your beans, use it for that or make a corn broth. We're going to start with a little bit of olive oil. We just want to cook the corn first. We're gonna let it cool down and then we're going to mix in the herbs and the spices that we have prepared too. So a little bit of garlic, don't burn it. We don't even want some color, right? We don't even want a little bit slightly brown or anything. So right away, I'm going to add my scallions. These are scallion tops. And a little bit of smoked paprika. Be careful because when you add it, it's going to start bringing the flavors out and you might even start coughing. So now that we have infused this flavor in here, we're going to add our corn. And you can see it has a little bit of the corn here. It's all right. And we're going to cook it slowly. Low temperature. We just want to cook it gently. On medium-low flame, we're gonna cook it for about 5 to 7 minutes. Season with a little bit of salt now, and then we come back. Okay, the corn is ready, but we need to deglaze the pan, this flavor. So we're going to use a little bit of the vegetable broth that I have, the mushroom broth. You can use any other kind of mushroom broth that you have, or you can use a little bit of water. Let the water to evaporate and then we're going to let the corn to cool down. Okay, so the corn is completely cold. It's been like that for 20 minutes. Now we're going to add our fresh herbs. We have cilantro, mint, scallion tops, and a little bit of lime zest. I'm mixing it in the pan because you don't have to use another bowl and mix it and then get it dirty. Then here we're going to add the lime juice and olive oil. My goodness, look at this. So beautiful, so colorful. It's going to be herby. This is going to be a big hit. So be prepared for the compliments. Taste it. The sweetness of the corn, the acidity of the lime juice, then you have the fatty of the extra virgin olive oil raw. It is delicious, but also you get the herby flavor here in all your mouth and a little kick in the back with the paprika, the smokiness. Let's finish with some beautiful radishes. Next up is a grilled lettuce salad that honestly you can make at home, or if you're out doing your barbecue, you can even put it in your barbecue. The best thing about this is that we're using also peaches. The sweetness of peaches, adding it into this salad, and we're doing like a Caesar dressing from scratch, super simple, by hand, and it's going to be lovely. I don't know if you're a fan of seaweed or if you have tried before. I am using a little bit of wakame seaweed today. And it's very nutritious, but also it adds that umami flavor. Okay, so this is wakame. When you buy it in the store, it comes already like this. It's like shredded in little pieces. You just need to hydrate it. And it's very simple. You just need to add a little bit of water. I like to add like 4 times parts of water per one of wakame. And then leave it like that. And you're gonna see that in 7 minutes, it's going to puff. And then you can use that liquid even for cooking your beans, cooking rice, something, you know. It's very little, but it has a lot of flavor. In the meantime, we're gonna do our dressing. Okay, so for our dressing, we're going to use first garlic. We're gonna mash it until we get a paste. I love doing things in the pestle mora, don't you? Okay, now that that's done, we're going to add our capers. Try to make a paste with them as well. When you make like Caesar dressing, you use like anchovies, and this is kind of like the anchovy part. It's never going to be the same flavor, but it is kind of like salty and it's gonna have similar flavor profile. If you don't like capers, in this dressing you are going to start loving them. They don't have to be super puree, but you don't want like big chunks of it. At this point, we're going to add our mustard. This is Dijon mustard. And now we're going to add a lemon zest. You just want to take out the yellow part, not the white part. So just do it once and that's it. But all around, don't leave anything here. Okay, so now next step is adding the lemon juice. This is going to help us to create the base for our dressing. Start adding olive oil and then we keep mixing. Mix it completely because we want to generate a temporary emulsification. This is not going to emulsify because everything is kind of chopped, has not enough strength to generate a lot of friction. Or if you want emulsify dressing, something you can do is use the immersion blender and blend everything together, or even in a blender. Just blend it and you will see how it's gonna come out together. But for today, I'm gonna keep it rustic. Okay, so first we're gonna preheat our grill on high heat. We want it really, really hot. This is going to be short and sweet. Put some olive oil, and now we're gonna place it on the hot grill. So we're gonna do this for about 1 minute. Ooh la la, look at that beautiful color. So now we can use 2 spoons just to put some pressure. Okay, so that's it. We're going to take it out and set it aside. We're going to remove the core. We're just gonna chop them like bite size. And we're gonna add some of the vinaigrette. You just want to mix it gently, you know, don't over mix it, don't put a lot of dressing. You want the dressing to cover it a little bit. We're going to add the seaweed, drain the water in another container. Last step, we're going to add some peaches. Make sure the peaches are ripe because if they are not ripe, it's not going to taste as delicious, you know. I have chopped parsley here. We're going to add that. That's the freshness. And look, this is better than vegan mayonnaise, trust me. Finish with some fresh black pepper and voila. That's it. Did you see the sandwich? Did you see the tofu, the beans, the creaminess? My goodness, I am hungry right now, and the best thing is that I get to eat it. But you have to make it so you eat it as well. Now you have 4 recipes for 4 of you like. Try it out. And remember, I'm here. If you have any questions, just drop it in the comments. And please, if you like this video, just like it. And if you didn't know who I am until now, I am Eduardo, but my friends call me Lalo. This is the Lalo Lab. And here I share vegan whole food recipes that are gonna help you to improve your life, eat better. My purpose is to help you to become a better home cook. to help you to be in charge of what you eat. That every time you eat amazingly, deliciousness, and bring you happiness. Because this is what food is about. And because I firmly believe that healthy can and should be delicious. So subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my next videos. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. As always, it was a pleasure. Take care, enjoy your 4th of July, and see you soon.